Area now, a couple hours away.
Yeah.
Still come down to the valley to check out the wildlife and collect samples.
Yeah, I've been all over the place.
We have our co-host Jeremy Cusick back with us after he tried to weasel his way out of being here.
Roads aren't that great. So,
The roads aren't that great, but when you texted me originally, I looked at Kaylee and like he established his way out. he always makes his back door first, just in case.
Hey, yeah, you know.
No, just teasing. So guys, let's rip it. These things, drone balls by Ameritrack.
Let's just leave
It's gonna break something.
It gave me the idea of becoming an Amazon affiliate. I'm like, if I just tell people about these things,
Just have a random toy every single episode.
having a toy inspired me to make some
Yeah,
online
when
sales.
he first showed me, he's like, check out this new toy I got. I'm like, what are you, 5? It's pretty sweet.
They bought me one. I've been playing with it, breaking
Yeah.
things off the walls, throwing it around.
And if you would want one of those too, you can use the code in the video description and get a link. I make a solid $1.20, I think. I think it's like 3%.
Well, I was waiting to buy one until we got this.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I learned if I use my code to buy one, I get banned immediately.
I'm gonna buy 20 of them.
Right. Trying to see how much I can make to make a profit for an extra one to sell. I saw that I make 10% commission off of beauty products. And I wanted to tell your skin's looking a little.
Music needs to do his makeup.
I do need some moisturizer. So.
And then I think the highest commission is Amazon Games. I didn't know, but they have their own like game development company. And I looked it up, and those games are dark. Like, I can't just be like, guys, come try this cool new game with them. Nah, there'd be no way. I think it's called Perfect World. So what's new, Tim? Since we last saw you, you had a summer of content put out.
Yeah. Since it's colder, it's a lot harder to flip
Yeah.
rocks. Plus, it's kind of dangerous for the animals.
Is
to
there
flip
different
rocks.
animals that you can only find like around this time that you go after? Or?
Yeah, actually, next week I'm working on a video. There is a salamander that people catch with their fishing poles. They're called mud puppies.
Oh yeah, we know mud puppies.
Mud puppies. They get like 2 feet long, but I'm gonna be doing a video. They're really active during the wintertime in the cold water. But yeah, that's
So
coming
they're
soon. Yeah,
they're a
look like
breed of-
axolotls.
They're a breed of salamander.
Yeah, they're a species of salamander.
Because I thought I was always told like they're a weird, like
Yeah.
Offspring of a fish.
So what usually happens with salamanders is they'll have a stage where they look like this in their life cycle, where they have like the external gills and they'll live in the water. But usually the salamanders will, as they go into adulthood or like juveniles, they'll move out of the water and lose their gills, and then they just live out of the water. But these guys just stay that way for their whole life.
Wow.
They're kind
I
of
see.
stuck being children.
Do they get that big? You see?
Yeah, they can get like 2 feet, I think.
Jeez.
But yeah, I'm gonna set some traps and see if I can catch some, because that's kind of the only amphibian and thing I can catch in the winter. So we'll see.
After this, we're setting up stuff in the woods to get some deer on video.
Yeah,
Or really anything.
some stuff, anything back there. We'll see what's living back there.
My neighbor Ed said there's a bobcat back there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That'd be cool.
And he also said that we have a lot of coyotes in the old mine shafts in the woods. And the first day I met him, he's like, "You see any rabbits around here?" And he's like, "Nope." That tells you one thing. He's like, "Keep your lights on," and drove off on his 4-wheeler.
Keep your lights on. Watch your back out there. That's funny. I'm also, I'm gonna be putting a mirror in the woods to see how like animals react to seeing themselves. I've seen there's researchers who've done it out in the jungle with like gorillas and stuff, but it'd be kind of cool to see what a squirrel does if it tries to attack itself or what. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a fun one.
So, what are you most proud of since we last saw you that you got on film, animal-wise? Have you seen something rarer than the others? Or maybe it performed better in your views?
I found a lot of salamanders that, like in in herping is what it's called when people like go out and try to find reptiles and amphibians. There's a thing called a lifer, and that's like you first find the species you've never found before. That's considered a lifer, like the first time you find it. I had a couple of those. Like,
oh damn! Like the first time ever finding a species.
yeah, for me at least,
Oh,
there was like,
okay.
no,
I thought
I discovered the no.
I thought he just yeah.
I had one. It's called a red salamander. You can look it up. They're pretty cool. Look it up now. No, I'm just kidding.
Jamie, pull that up. Please.
Yeah, pull it up now. No, red salamanders. Those are cool. They're not like rare or anything, but it was the first time I've ever found one.
Pardon my spelling.
They're pretty cool.
You're right.
They eat other salamanders too. They're kind of hardcore. Yeah, that was a cool thing I found. That was my highlight of the end of the year. I also found
Under a rock.
yeah, it was,
Okay.
of course. There. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I had found a timber rattlesnake. I don't know if we talked about that last time.
Timber rattlesnake.
Somebody hit it with their car. I think we did talk about that.
I think I asked you about it, but we couldn't think of the appropriate name of it.
Oh, of the rattlesnakes around here.
Or a northern
yeah.
rattlesnake. I think I asked you about a northern rattlesnake,
Yeah.
which wasn't.
Timber rattlesnakes. Those are really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I found one. I think it was more of a juvenile because it was kind of small, but unfortunately somebody hit it with their car before I found it, which kind of sucks. So this summer, I'm going to try to find an alive one, hopefully.
Now, how are these compared to like ones out west? Are they just as dangerous? Like poison, like venom wise?
Yeah, the venom, it can definitely kill you, but rattlesnakes as a whole are kind of, I don't want to say they're like not aggressive. They're not aggressive, but
Right.
you should still be cautious around them. But they kind of know that they're big and bad, and they kind of know that they can give you a great deal. Like you can step on a rattlesnake sometimes and they won't bite you. I don't recommend you do that, obviously, but they don't want to waste their venom.
Right. And I mean, their whole rattle is just to let you know, like, hey, you know what I am.
Right. It's yeah. It's so that they don't have to waste their venom. It's a mechanism to let them preserve their venom.
And then you had an interesting video recently where you dissected a rattle and you
Yeah.
explaining how like they grow it over time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They start off well. It's basically snakes and reptiles and stuff. They obviously shed their skin, but they will keep a little piece of their shed skin on the end, and then the next time they shed another piece, and they keep another piece, and then they stack on top of each other, and that's how the rattle makes sound. It's pretty cool. And yeah, another thing about the I'll just rattle on about it. Rattle on, hey!
Meow, meow, meow. I need a soundboard.
You need soundboard. Hey, people will think that they can like determine the age of a rattlesnake by how many rattles they have, but they break off pretty easily. And sometimes they don't have the rattles because they can break off so easily. So
Okay.
not always the best.
It's just like a little bit of the skin cells over time just keeps adding.
Yeah,
up.
it's a little bit of that old skin that they just keep on. Stacks on top of each other and then just does that. I always thought that they had like little BBs or
Yeah, that's
something
what I
in
always thought.
Yeah.
Too.
I called Tim one day because we had a baby garter snake in the basement, and it was like rattling his tail. I'm like, oh no, it's a northern rattle. He's like, they're trying to pretend that.
Yeah, they're
a lot
just
more dangerous.
mimicking the rattle to make you think that they're a rattlesnake.
I don't know if I asked you this last time, but who's the biggest and baddest snake around our area that like territorial wise, like once they come in? they get pushed?
Territorial. I don't think snakes are really territorial. But like if you were to get close to one, like who's the most likely? It's always the ones that are the least dangerous that are the most obnoxious and want to bite you about it. So it's like water snakes like to bite a lot. Racers like to bite a lot. But they're harmless. But if you can't tell the difference between them and a rattlesnake, I wouldn't go near them, obviously. But
I don't go near snakes.
Yeah.
Period.
yeah, that's
So
good. Just let them be. Yeah, they have their role that they're playing out there.
What
So.
about copperheads? Are they as big and bad as they're made to believe?
Copperheads, I think, are more likely from like people. None's ever struck at me or anything, but I think they're more likely to try to bite you than like a rattlesnake. But their bites are rarely fatal, and they're really not that bad. Also, they don't smell like cucumbers. People say they smell like cucumbers. That's not a
Right,
real thing.
What did you think of the calling at Ogleby? Speaking of deer.
It's necessary.
Yeah,
to
I was gonna
happen,
say.
Yeah, those deer over there are so underfed because there's so many deer. It's just
Yeah.
disease ridden, and yeah, it's for the best.
And like the word that I saw get thrown around a lot when people were arguing against it is that these deers are tame. If they're tame, then make it sit for a treat. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being tame and
Right.
desensitized to other animals
that's
and like
true.
humans, and that's like one of the biggest like symptoms of CWD. One of the first signs is they just stop caring about.
Yeah,
being,
I mean, there's so many people that come through there. They're probably very desensitized to people, but
yeah.
that doesn't make them any less sick. It doesn't just because.
I heard a lot of stories of people visiting the lights this year, making a point to get out of their cars and like feed them as much as they could. And
Well, yeah, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, I guess.
do you know anything about like if they would be sick like that about their meat? Because I know that was a big controversy of like.
I have no idea. I don't know anything. I don't know much about.
Yeah, I know it's like a protein disease, a prion disease, or something like that.
You would think it'd affect their meat.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
I mean it was donated.
makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't eat it.
yeah. So you didn't really do a lot of research or try to like find a lot of deer before we're going out in the woods today. You ever try to do anything with them, observe them, or?
I have set out trail cameras and have recorded deer,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't like done too much digging into deer.
Yeah.
But with this video where I'm gonna have the mirror out and stuff, I'm gonna be doing more research on them because I really want to see their behavior. It's gonna be cool.
And we can even get some good content today just seeing the trail because where I cut in, I made like a little logging camp for like 2 weeks back there when it started getting colder. But where I macheted the path, got taken over by a real tiny dark line where they're crossing the
That's
deer
cool.
trail.
That'll be a
So,
perfect place to put it.
yeah, it's all kicked up. They're everywhere around here.
yeah, they are.
So you started your videos. You started doing with this. Started out with just 30 seconds. I'm going to flip 5 rocks, but you've been kind of branching out, putting more production and editing into it.
I've been trying, yeah. I've been doing my best. I mean, I'm the most in my element when I'm flipping rocks because that's like what I know the most.
Yeah.
But I've tried to do some videos with birds. I went to find bald eagles.
I like that video.
That was a good video. I misidentified several birds in the video because I'm not that good at it, but obviously I'm learning and I'm open to that thing. So
a single bald eagle is like.
it was cool.
Yeah.
I saw one when I was driving one day at work, and I stopped in the middle of the road.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
God,
like,
look
they're
they're huge.
I get comments where people are like, "These are all over the place, Farley." I'm like, well, they're not here.
Yeah.
So it was a cool experience for me. I enjoyed it. So
A lot of people consider them trash birds. Like you'll see them around dumpsters.
yeah,
lot.
in Alaska, they hang around the dumps like a ton. Like you can see, there's hundreds of them around the dumps. I'm like, America's bird right there.
You always hear stories of nests in Rayland. Like I've always heard growing up.
Yeah, they like to make them along like wetlands, rivers, and stuff. You can find them spread out throughout the country. It's pretty cool.
I think there's some around Piedmont because I was around Flushing area when I saw it, and
Yeah,
that's not
probably.
yeah.
I can't remember what town it was in PA, but it was about 45 minutes away from the river, and they said they were getting a lot of little bird heads and bird skulls all over the tops of their buildings, and they said it's because the bald eagles come and hunt this way.
That's
Just
cool.
Eat the
Just
birds,
drop
drop them, and go back to the river.
That's pretty cool.
What other ones we got out here? Birds of prey. We just got hawks, right, and turkey buzzards. You know what really gets misidentified as hawks and turkey buzzards? A lot of people think that the big birds that are just circling overhead, the big black ones, are hawks. 99% of the time they're like hawks don't.
There's hawks, falcons. There's a bunch of different kinds of hawks. A ton of different kinds of hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
See
how I
Cooper.
screwed up
See
that.
Coopers a lot.
Cooper's
around
hawks,
there.
red-tailed hawks,
was gonna say-
red-shouldered hawks. There.
I
Yeah.
feel like I see a lot of red tail. From
Yeah.
what I know,
Mhm.
they're red tail.
I'm doing my best. Trying to figure them out. Every time someone's like, "That's not that," and I'm like, "I tried."
You said a lot of times with hawks is if you see them leave a tree, go after their prey, and leave the area, that's a hawk. Usually, if they're just floating around trying to find something dead up high in the sky, that's a turkey buzzard.
Yeah. Yeah. They're also, I think they're bigger. And
Yeah.
Like all jet black. This is
Right.
good. Determining.
And they are not scared of you on County Road 4.
I was going to say they wait till the last second to fly away.
I wish you were here around the area. What was it, like 10, 15 years ago? There was a farmer down the road that had, what was it, buffalo? Bison?
Yeah.
really?
They would get out of the it's the farm like right by Redmond Park. It's not, you can't really even tell it's a farm now,
No,
but it's
yeah,
a
it's just-
overgrown field. But yeah, they used to get out of the pen in the middle of the road, and they would have to call like the cops and like try to get them off. Yeah, they did get them off.
Whoa, soundboard!
Speaking of creatures, have you heard of the creatures in Miami?
Oh yeah, the 10-foot aliens that
You've
are
heard
walking
he
through the
has
mall.
let's bring this up. And for those of you that haven't heard this story, apparently, well, there's videos of it. There was about 50 to 100 police cruisers responded to a call in a Miami mall that said there was a group of teens fighting with sticks and fireworks. And I think 2 teens were arrested, but all these eyewitness reports are coming out on social media saying no, there were actually gray 8 to 10 foot creatures in the mall that the cops responded to with firepower. But that's about as far as it went. No video.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not saying aliens aren't real. I'm not saying aliens are real. But everybody has a phone in their pocket.
I know.
There would be a
Yeah,
video of it
why
somewhere.
wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah. There would also be a video of the kids fighting, though. If they had fireworks. I mean, but if they did have fireworks, that would explain why the cops would come.
Right.
But then
yeah.
that's also could be a cover up.
Oh, yeah.
Can't trust what you read in the news anymore.
Yeah. And if it was a huge group of teens, maybe it was just them that started like, oh no, there was monsters. That's what.
Yeah, one headline said like police respond to aliens in the mall. LOL.
LOL.
The only thing I need to know about these aliens is if they take FMJ or Hollow Point. I'd hope it'd be aliens off the movie Signs, because I think they killed them with water.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to Miami and setting up some trail cameras. I'm gonna get these aliens on camera.
Going back to birds, do you know anything about starlings?
A little bit. I've done a little bit of looking into them. I know they're invasive. I saw that apparently it's all like speculation that they were released by a group of people who liked who was it? Somebody's poetry. Why can't I think of his name? I can't think of his name. But apparently they were released because they liked no, Shakespeare.
Shakespeare?
Shit, the only person anybody knows who does poetry. Shakespeare. They liked Shakespeare. They released them in New York City because they were like, I want these birds. He mentioned them, and then now they're all over the United States. But
Yeah, they're very invasive, and like all these farmers, like growing up, told me like, yeah, I kill starlings. I shoot them anytime I see them. I never understood why until somebody's like, they're Brits. They're coming to like take our land.
They like will take over nests. They're bigger. They're more aggressive than most birds.
I think their beak is hooked. You want to bring up a picture of them real quick? I think their beak is like hooked to where they're more efficient of getting insects.
What was it?
Starling.
European starling.
Yeah. So if you're a
Starling
patriot
Marte.
and you see a group of starlings in your yard,
They're kind of a pretty bird, though.
they are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the oily blackbirds you almost see outside.
Yeah. Planes have crashed because of their flocks have been so big.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I think there's like maybe 2 on record. I don't know. Someone needs to check that. I don't know.
Yeah, we just started this year getting a lot of cowbirds in our yard, and they're funny because they're super tiny. They're all in one group. It just looks like the ground's kicking up like around them.
So the killdeer bird is that?
Killdeer.
They are aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm walking one day at work, and next thing you know, I'm being chased.
Well,
Too
you know-
close to their nest, but
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
they're
Do you know anything
nesting on
about
the ground.
killdeer? That's Luke's favorite bird.
No, I don't know. I don't know that much about birds. I've only just recently started to try to get into them.
Killdeer around here, and they're a flightless bird. Their nests are in bushes. And what happens is if you walk by one of their nests, the father will act injured and run in front of you. That's what they do to get you away from it.
I need to get that on video. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll stick their leg out, flop their feathers, and they'll try to get you away. They'll like come at you and then try to get you away from the nest. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
What's your favorite bird around here? I like seeing blue jays or woodpeckers.
I like to. I mean, cardinals are pretty basic,
Yeah.
but I like a
Cardinals
cardinal.
are cool.
Yeah.
downy woodpeckers are pretty cool. The big ones, I think they're the big ones. The
Well-
woody woodpecker kind.
I think those are pileated woodpeckers. I think
Okay.
downy
Yeah.
woodpeckers are the little.
Okay, yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, those
I'm
things
not a
are
bird
huge. Those
expert
things are
or an
huge.
expert in anything.
You got snakes down pretty good.
Yeah.
And salamanders.
Salamanders are tough. They can be just as tough as birds, honestly.
And I've heard you've been getting the itch for another snake.
Yeah, I want to get a California red-sided garter snake. Full of those bad
California
boys up.
red-sided garter
That's,
snake.
Yeah. My favorite snake is the San Francisco garter snake, which look very similar to the
Red-sided.
red-sided garter
I was
snake.
waiting to see if
Red-sided
you-
or sided?
Sided.
I was
No, you
wait-
had it right. No.
I was waiting for
The
you to
side of them
decide
is
it.
red.
He can only see red. He's mad.
Garter.
He's mad all the
Well,
time.
you know what? We'll get auto corrected.
Okay, that's pretty.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really cool. And garter snakes are my favorite snakes. They're kind of basic, but they're so cool. You can keep like a group of them in a tank together, and they can be communal. They have like social relationships. I think there's some evidence behind that, which is kind of cool. You think of reptiles, you think, oh, emotionless killer, but no, they do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, the garters were
I'm
the
saying.
ones that I lifted the tarp off the wood pile, and you couldn't tell where one ended and one began. There's a bunch of them.
They have all those lines. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
That's the next one, huh?
Yeah, hopefully. Can feed them fish.
Where can you
all
find
kinds of
these
stuff.
at?
Pet store.
I mean, in the wild.
Yeah, in the wild, they're in
Yeah.
California, obviously.
Oh, okay,
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Look up the San Francisco garter snake. They look very similar. They don't have the checkered. Yeah, see, they're just flat. Those are my favorite. I think they just look so cool. Yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool
That's
stuff
cool.
going on with garter snakes.
Almost looks glow in the dark, even.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wouldn't matter with snakes, but it looks like the female's more colorful, but.
No, they both are very vibrant.
Oh,
That
okay.
picture is probably a little bit edited.
Does that
This one seems.
does that appear in the snake world like as birds do? Like the male would be more brightly colored, or is it just kind of?
For snakes,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think
Yeah.
there's much. There's something called sexual dimorphism where
Ooh.
like one will be larger than the other. It's usually the females are bigger than the males. That definitely
into that.
appears, but I don't think there's any
Don't ask me to spell.
a lot of color variation. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure it exists, but
Gotcha.
yeah, don't look that up.
What snake around here would be the most like? Is there one that's like more reproductive than others? Like you would have a problem with them multiplying?
Garter snakes
Really?
do that a lot, and I mean, it's not a problem. I don't think it's a problem,
Yeah.
obviously, but
The snake guy wouldn't think it's a problem.
garter snakes they do live birth too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's
What's that?
live birth, but the eggs are held inside their bodies,
Okay.
and then they hatch inside their bodies, but they come out live, which is kind of cool.
That's weird.
Other
That's-
snakes just lay them and let them.
I think it was Indiana Jones, where they had that big snake in the Temple,
Temple
of
of
Doom,
Doom,
and they
yeah.
opened him up, and all the babies started crawling out of it.
Yeah.
Wonder if they put a bunch of fake eggs inside. And they ate a monkey's brain.
Guy ripped his heart. Yeah, it was an
Golly
intense
ma.
movie.
Yeah, that was like one of my first movies when I was a kid. And that was pretty damn scary.
I'm not watching any Indiana Jones movies.
That's
I've
like
never
that,
seen any of them.
the Return the Slab episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was kind of
Oh, it didn't get into Courage.
sorry, whatever. Then I'll edit that out.
Cut. Soundboard. Yeah. You should give me the guest the soundboard so they can
Yes,
edit
the
whatever.
Record scratch. Get in there.
Speaking of raising cool animals in captivity, Cusick graduated as a guy from Martins Ferry, Ohio, that kept a alligator in his bathtub and then released it to the river when it got too big in Mackey Apartments.
Fed him stray cats.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
He killed that alligator. He'll releasing it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he showed me some videos of like, because up at the apartments he lived in, there was just cats everywhere. He'd just grab a cat and just toss it in a fish tank.
That's
So, I
insane.
mean, it's like,
That is crazy.
what are you doing?
There's a story of a guy releasing a bunch of piranha into the river before too. But I'm just like, great, you just killed a bunch.
Yeah,
They don't
as
live
soon as it
here.
gets cold, they're all dead. Like,
Yeah. And I don't think there's ever been a like an account of piranha actually eating somebody. That doesn't like actually
no,
happen.
as far as I understand it, obviously I don't know that much about piranhas, but I think they're more eat dead things like
Yeah.
that have already died instead of attacking. But
there's not just like bubbles forming in the water. It's like something. Like Austin Powers is like, we couldn't afford piranha or sharks, so we got ill-tempered sea bass. Did you do a lot of fishing this summer?
not as much as I wanted
I was gonna
to.
say you were the fishing guy when I first met you.
Yeah, and I hadn't fished as much as I wanted to. This summer I'm gonna make it a thing where I fish when I'm like out catching snakes, so I'm not recording the video. I'm gonna try to fish a little bit on the side.
Yeah. We went to Piedmont. We didn't have much luck this year as far as fishing went.
No. Did you guys hear about the story of or I guess it's not a story, but there's people in Florida who raise chameleons by catching or bringing the wild chameleons, releasing them onto one tree, and letting them reproduce, and they come back and take all the babies.
They come back.
I did not.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it started the whole problem with the pythons in the Everglades. People making like almost like farms, then going back later.
I
And
definitely heard about that, but
Yeah.
I've heard
There's
definitely
a
the
lot.
frogs and the lizards that people and chameleons. Like
The
you're saying,
chameleons, their thought process is that the chameleons, I mean, they do stay on the tree for the most part, but they're not all going to just stay on one tree. Obviously, they wander out.
Yeah.
Idiots. That's what they are.
When was a Python Cowboy's his name?
Oh yeah,
I
that
listened
guy.
to an interview with him, and he was talking about how there's just this whole business that
Just hunting them down,
yeah.
and they can get government contracts to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot.
the one guy tried to get swallowed by a python.
I saw
You
that.
try to get swallowed by a
Yeah.
python? What?
Yeah. He pulled out, didn't he? He panicked.
Yeah, it was on.
He was wearing a pressure suit.
Yeah,
Why did he do this?
I think he was like a David Blaine type dude.
yeah.
This for his TikTok account?
What if you get swallowed by a whale? And it's just like the cartoons. You're in there with like a treasure chest and like a little boat and stuff. You're waiting for
Where
it
is
to
it?
go farther down.
I've seen one where they just cut out a grandma. And that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Where?
You ever see the videos where like it'll be a bunch of kids rescuing a dog from having like a python around them, and then they always find out like this is like there was like 10 takes. They just keep letting this thing wrap around the dog.
It might be this one.
There.
I did see the guy had like a big pressure suit, and he was like, "I'm
Yeah,
not
that's the
doing
one
this."
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. Eaten alive.
What were you gonna say?
I don't want to say it, but I'll tell you anyway if you cut it. There
I'll
is
cut
these
it.
guys.
Is there a community of what you do, that like gets a hold of you? Are you in touch with other like wildlife?
Like the herping people.
Yeah, or just anybody that's making that on social media, like in their own area. Do you guys work together at
I
all?
follow a few people. I haven't really talked to them that
Yeah.
often, but yeah, there's people all over the place. It kind of sucks because, I mean, it doesn't suck, but I'll find like garter snakes, eastern garter snakes. I like finding that stuff, but then these guys are out finding all this crazy stuff, and their posts get no love, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah,
But they find stuff that I would like die to find. It's so cool.
yeah.
There's a guy in the Everglades I see every now and then.
Oh yeah, that
Just
guy.
barefoot in the Everglades. Gator goes by. What's it called? Swamp puppies or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
I get all the comments on my videos. Yoink! And I'm like, oh man.
There's a couple videos I saw, maybe that same guy where he has his camera, but he turns the light off or something where he could see the reflection of their eyes.
Yeah.
There's like 100 more of them than we
I would
originally
love
thought.
to go to the Everglades. That's definitely on
Oof.
my list of places I want to go.
If you were talking like just United States, where would be the place? Like if somebody gave you like a weekend to go and try to, what would be your ultimate charter? I guess I would say
To find snakes?
to go and
Or just something,
Where
anything.
would you go and what would you find if if Discovery gave you a TV show tomorrow, what would be, and they'd be like, what would be your?
There's a place I'm gonna go or try to go in the fall in like October, I think. It's a road, and on one side of the road is a swamp, and on the other side of the road there is like a rock wall type thing. There's a bunch of like places for the snakes to hide. And as it starts to get colder, all the snakes migrate from the swamp to the rocks.
Gotcha.
And you can go out there. You're not allowed like touching the snakes or anything. It's a Forest Service road, but you have to like park your car away. You can't drive on the road. You have to walk. And it's open to the public right now. I don't want to say the exact location because I don't want to. But you can find it if you just look it up if you're really interested in that kind of thing. Yeah. But I want to go there and you can find like 20 species in one night. Hypothetically, I don't know. I don't know if it's 20, but
it's just that movement. You gotta be at the right place, right time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. It's like usually like the first cold night.
Is there a certain species at this place that would be your goal that you have your eye on?
Well, there's a bunch of different species there, but I really want to find a cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth?
Cottonmouth, yeah. They're a venomous snake.
I was going to say they're pretty damn venomous.
Yeah.
It sounds
They're really cool. They sit with their mouth like gaping open. It's like
yes.
bright pink.
I'm slacking over here.
Cottonmouth. That's where the name Cottonmouth comes from. Water moccasin, people also call them. They got all kinds of.
Oh, so water moccasin and cottonmouth are essentially
thing,
the same.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, there's that video. They're the snake that water snakes get mistaken for and get killed for no reason because they're associated with water.
That's an intimidating mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be one I would really like to see.
Florida cottonmouth, semi-aquatic.
Yeah.
And we were camping out one year in Hawken Hill. Your brother was just had his feet in the water, and then what they say, a water moccasin came up on him.
They said there was a water. Those are not anywhere near here. Those are only southern United States.
So to our friends at Hawking Hills, they
lied to you.
There was a snake that popped
out. It was probably just the northern water snake. Kill it.
We won't mention his name, but that trip at Hawking
I think
Hills,
we should throw him under the. No.
But we were there for how many days? 2-3 days camping, hiking.
3 days, 2 nights.
And at the end of the trip, next when we all wake up, we watch this guy bathe himself with one wet nap. He starts with his toes.
Flossing his
starts
toes.
with the toes.
That's
crazy. I would start with the face. If it were me,
came out black.
You've been out Hawking Hills a good bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gone around there flipping some rocks a little bit. There are some copperheads around that general area. I haven't found any yet.
Yeah.
I've gone out there looking. I've only ever found copperheads on the southern area of Ohio. I don't really anywhere else. But
and which is the one that usually gets mistaken for
the copperheads?
For copperheads,
there's a lot of stuff. The milk snakes are a big one, people, because when they get older, they lose their bright colors, so they kind of get more like mottled and gray looking. People think that they're copperheads. But
that's
they're not.
The one that you ran over on your lawnmower this past year.
Sad day. That was a sad day.
There was a garter snake that lived right outside our house. He might still do. I named him Garter Winter.
Garter Winter.
After a Carter Winter in country music singer from Columbus. Kaylee got a kick out of that.
I'd like to do a video. This is totally unrelated. I just thought of this, but I'd like to do a video with people always say that like rattlesnakes or cottonmouths will chase them down. I'm gonna do a video where I try to get the snake to chase me down because just to prove the point that they don't chase you. They would much rather go the opposite direction than.
What's going to be your approach? How you?
I haven't thought that far, but I'll work it out. Trust me. I'll get. But
just annoy it until it's like
they would rather do that than chase you down to bite you and waste their venom that they have to eat.
And energy too. I mean,
yeah, it's just a waste. Yeah, that's just a random thought I had. I just looked up there. I was like, that would be a good idea.
Well, all right, guys. You want to go out into the woods and set up some cameras
Let's
and
do it.
Let's do
see
it.
if we can find a bobcat?
Yeah.
Let's try to annoy it, see if it'll chase us.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks.
Catch Tim in the wild
Yeah.
and
The
Jeremy
wild.
in the city.